Welcome back to the channel, and today we have an exciting review for y'all of the TSprof Kadet Pro knife sharpening system. We will be comparing it to some of its main competitors in the market, namely KME, Wicked Edge, Work Sharp Professional Precision Adjust. We'll be discussing the pros and cons of the TSprof Kadet Pro and why it stands out from the rest. So let's dive right in. First off, I'd like to say that the Wicked Edge has been my go-to sharpener for the last probably 5 to 6 years. I've owned 3 different Wicked Edge systems, and I never thought I would move away from the Wicked Edge until this TSprof showed up. First off, let's talk about the TSprof Kadet Pro. This versatile knife sharpener has gained quite a reputation among knife enthusiasts. It's designed to provide a professional level sharpening experience, and it's packed with a ton of awesome features. The machining qualities on this thing are on another level. I used to work at a machine shop many years back, and I know kind of what I'm looking at, and just the threading, the way these things move, and the way there's no slop when everything's locked down is just mind-blowing. So we're going to take a quick look at some of the key features that I love about this system, and I'm going to compare it to those other competitors. First off, we have these 2 aluminum clamps right here that allow for a lot of versatility in what size knife you use. You can do pocket knives like this. It works a lot better when there's a flat, but if there isn't a flat, you can either make up the difference of space with some tape, and I recommend putting tape on the jaws anyway, because it doesn't come with anything to protect the blade from getting scratched if you tighten them down onto just a bare blade. So that helps out a lot. And say if this is a full flat grind, in order to make up the gap from where you're pinching it, like to the thickest portion and to the thinnest portion, I use a piece of chamois cloth and put it on the blade right there, so it kind of makes up that gap for the most part. Comes with the necessary Allen wrench to tighten everything down. They have a small one as well for some other screws that you don't really mess with. Once you have your blade clamped in here, you got the option, once you're done sharpening on this side, there's a little lever right here. You pull this lever and it allows you to freely rotate it. You lock it back down and then start sharpening on here. I love that. That's one advantage over the KME. The KME, even though I'm not trying to talk bad on the KME, I've sharpened plenty of knives on it, and I have gotten good results. But all the results I'm talking about are on the next level. Now, if you don't have a lot of expensive knives to sharpen, it's not gonna really make sense to buy one of these. I recommend this system to people who have high-end knives or knives that they really care about the edge, or if you're into sharpening big time and you can't freehand like myself, then maybe this would make sense to you. Or if you're a knife maker, a chef, it would make a lot of sense in that department. And say I want to sharpen this big kitchen knife right here. You got 2 screws right here that you can loosen up in the back and slide these jaws all the way out to the end just so you can have more stability. That's another cool thing. Unlike my Wicked Edge, once it's clamped, it usually holds most blades in it nicely, and they do have a little thing that you can put, but it's just not as stable as this one seems to be. Now on the other side of that, if I'm trying to sharpen, say, a small knife like this Kaiser submarine right here, you don't have that much flat, and it would be very difficult. I mean, this one might have enough, but if it doesn't have enough flat for you to be able to get into the jaws, because this is the closest these 2 jaws go, you can either use one jaw and clamp it in the middle. You can move the jaws both to one side, which makes it's kind of awkward that way, and clamp it over here, but then you're kind of traveling far. Or they sell tons of aftermarket accessories for this, and TSprof also sells a different jaw that allows you to clamp it closer together. So it just depends, and they have tons of other sharpeners that might come with that, but this is the only one that I have, the Kadet Pro. Another big reason why I choose to use this one over the Wicked Edge is the various stones you can use with this system. I prefer these 6x1 stones over the KME's smaller stones. You can just get things done a little bit quicker and a little bit more stability onto the blade. The diamond stones that come with it are perfectly, good. I sharpened 75 knives with the stones that came with it, and I thought they did well. I also have some aftermarket stones that, you can buy so many different kind. I got some Veneve resin bonded stones that I use whenever I'm trying to take the polish up some. But this system comes with a little box like this. Comes with a 150 grit, 220, 400, 600, and 1000. If you're looking to get a polish, I do recommend getting you some strops. I like these strops from Gritomatic. I got a leather, and I have it loaded with 3 micron gunny juice. And then also from Gritomatic, I have Gen Industries Nano Cloth, and I have 1 micron just because of the finer grit to it. You don't have to buy strops, but I find that it helps with the burr removal process, and if you're looking to get that high polish, that helps out a bunch. Another thing I love about this Kadet Pro is how easy it is to fine tune your angle. You have this little knob right here, and you can turn it down to increase the angle, up to decrease the angle, and you can make a very, very small change to it. Then once you have the angle that you're looking for, you lock it down like this, and this will not move anymore. Then if you turn it around on the other side, there's some markings, and these are just suggested angles for different types of knives. You have like a hunting knife, a fillet knife, I think. I can't really see that with straight razor. The higher you get, the smaller the angle gets. And as you move, once you have the thing locked down, you can see where it's at. If you want to make sure you can repeat that angle the next time you sharpen it. Another huge reason why I prefer this over my Wicked Edge when it comes down to how well I can sharpen a knife is because this system, this little area right here, is a stone thickness compensator that I can put in here, and that when you start off, you put it in here to measure the thickness of the stones. And I've already measured all my other stones, and they're all the same except my strops. And if you have a bigger stone than this, you increase this to that thickness, lock it down, and then your angle hasn't changed any. With the Wicked Edge, I have to put my angle cube on it with each stone because almost every one of my stones from Wicked Edge, the factory stones, are almost all different. And I know it could be because I used one more than the other or something like that, but it's a pain, and that's a huge help, and it helps speed up the process a lot. It also comes with a Overtravel Stop right here. Once you get your knife in the clamp, you see how far the stone goes to the end without falling off, and then you can lock this down so you don't pull it down too far and go over your edge and then wreck your perfectly good edge. One thing that I prefer over the KME with the Kadet Pro is that the Kadet Base is pretty weighty, so I don't have to hold the base down while I'm sharpening. With the KME, I definitely have to hold mine down for the most part because it's just a wood base. This thing's a solid base right here. I don't know how much it weighs, but it's not going anywhere. It also has rubber feet underneath it so it doesn't slide, but my KME has rubber feet as well. The base on my KME, where it sits onto the little rod for the base, is very wobbly, and that can mess up your angle, and it can mess up your sharpening. This thing, once you have everything locked down, this thing is not going anywhere. My table's shaking, but this is not shaking. Everything, I don't have this locked down. Everything is very tight and secure. The guide rod on this thing is very tight as well. That's a big deal with my Wicked Edge. Those the plastic insides of those double-sided stones on the Wicked Edge, the more you go up and down on those metal rods, it's wearing that plastic out. So mine have some slop to it, which is a big deal because that changes your angle. With this one, I don't have that issue because I'm using very light pressure anyway, and I'm just using the stone's weight to do the actual sharpening. I also prefer this stone holder over the KMEs because of how quick and easy it is. You just pull this. You just pull this little top thing back. It's spring loaded, and then you can pop the stone out that has like a little groove to it. Whenever I need to load the next stone, I just place it in these grooves, pull this back, and voila, you're locked in. And it also comes with the little knob. It's very smooth. This thing moves nice and smooth, and you have a longer travel motion than the KME as well. You have the longer stones and the longer rods, so when you're doing longer passes, you don't have to stop and start over again. I can do my kitchen knives with one swoop, and it's just a lot faster and cleaner process with the Kadet Pro. When it comes to build quality and engineering of the systems, the Kadet Pro is hands down a mile above the rest, in my opinion. And like I said, I own the Wicked Edge Professional or whatever that has a cam lock to it. It's a very nice system, but in my opinion, it doesn't hold a leg to this system. Now, one thing I will say, one plus about the Wicked Edge, when I'm looking for sheer speed, I don't really care how perfect the edge is. Wicked Edge is the one I usually go to because I have the double-sided paddles. I've been using it for longer, so I can manipulate those paddles quickly, and I'm sharpening both sides of the edge at the same time instead of like the KME and like the Kadet Pro having to sharpen one side, get a burr, flip it, and then sharpen the other side. So, it is a faster system in my opinion, but it's almost, that part of it is almost diminished by the setup time it takes for the Wicked Edge sometimes. Sometimes it's a fast process. Sometimes it takes a little while getting the blade where I want it to be, and having to measure each stone each time, that takes up a lot of time as well. A huge benefit to both the KME and the Kadet Pro is the fact that while I'm sharpening, and also the work sharp, while I'm sharpening, I'm able to look down at my edge so I can see exactly where I'm hitting the edge, what my progress is like. I can see the scratch pattern, unlike the Wicked Edge, where I have to literally lean to the side, try to get the right light. I usually have to flash a flashlight at it to see, did I get rid of all my scratches from the previous grid? Am I hitting the edge where I want it to be? Now, one way you can tell, one thing that I do all the time when I first start about to sharpen the knife, get yourself a Sharpie, color the edge bevel on both sides, and that way, once you think you have the right angle where you want to start at, you make a pass with in my case, it'd be the 1000 grit diamond. You want to go with the highest grit, and you make a pass, and you can see wherever that Sharpie's being removed at, it can let you know which you need to adjust your angle to. If it's only removing the Sharpie at the very apex of the edge, that's this, like right at the end of the edge, then your angle is up too high. If you're only removing the Sharpie at the very back shoulder of the edge, then your angle's too low. So you can make small adjustments until you want to be able to remove all the Sharpie in one pass. Then you found that angle. Now, it doesn't matter as much if you're going to reprofile it and set your own angle. That's if you're trying to match the factory angle. And if you want to know the exact angle that you're sharpening at, I recommend getting yourself an angle cube. I've used probably 10 different angle cubes over the years, and I found that this Klein one is excellent. It's $20. I got mine from Home Depot, and I like how it has the little divots. This is used for piping. So a round pipe, you can set it on there and it won't fall off. It's magnetized right here at the bottom, and I can set it on top of my guide rod with the stone, and I can set it down and get the exact angle that I'm sharpening at. The only reason you want to know that is for future sharpenings. If you want to resharpen the knife, you can have it written down somewhere, know exactly the angle that you use to sharpen it, and sharpen it again at that angle. That way you're not removing more steel than you need to ever. Another recommendation I would give you, no matter which sharpening system that you end up buying, you want to always use very light pressure. With this system, I use just the weight of the stones and just guide it along. You want the diamonds to do the work. When you're using a lot of pressure, you're gouging the steel. So when you go to the next grit, it's going to be very hard to get those gouges out. You're going to have to spend a lot more time. If you just, let the stones do the work with very light pressure, it's a lot easier to get rid of those scratches from the previous grit, and it makes burr removal a lot easier because you're not forming this huge burr that you're trying to remove. Once I have my knife clamped, my angle set, everything locked down, and I'm ready to sharpen, after I've colored my bevel in and made my pass so I have the angle set exactly where I want it to be. Whenever I'm getting started, I usually start on my 150 to pull my burr. And I'll get started. Whenever I'm just trying to pull my burr, I do up and down strokes. And one thing that I'm going to stress, because I've done it many times whenever I'm rushing, whenever you're coming, like I said, you can do any kind of, you can do up and down strokes, you can do, swooping passes, but whenever you get to that tip area, I always slow down, and I'll go till I get to about the middle of the stone. A lot of times I don't even go that far, and I'm kind of lightly leaning the stones in this direction, like, this is exaggerated, but I'm leaning the stones back a little bit, and you just need to take your time. What you don't want to happen is you get to that end and you slide off that tip, because it's going to round your tip over and you won't even have a tip. So take your time to the tip. That's huge. And you want to make sure that you you're keeping everything even. So if you do, say if you got a spot over here that you're not hitting yet, you say if you do a few passes here, you want to do a few passes here, a few passes here. You want to do the same amount of passes, so you don't have a bigger bevel on one side. You want your bevel to be even and consistent. Something else I love about this system over the KME is that it has a little stone holder. Say if you have to go get a drink or something, or you got to answer a phone call, it has a little collar right here. I can move it off to the side, do what I need to do, and that's awesome. Couple of little minor nitpicks, complaints with the system. I wish that this system came with that other clamp, because I sharpen mainly folders, and some of my folders are too small for these two clamps. Also, the little thing I was just talking about, this little hook that hooks the thing when you're not using it, is plastic, which it's still good with mine, but I would have loved if they would have done like a little aluminum collar there, because that is eventually going to wear out. And you do have some limitations when it comes to sharpening certain blades. You can only go up to a certain thickness here. It fits all my knives. It's not going to fit over a 1/4 inch knife, obviously. And if the knife you're sharpening has too thin of blade stock, it may not work in this system. And if it's too small, like if it's, say, like a Swiss Army knife, it probably won't work in here, because you can end up hitting the clamp before you actually hit the edge. It just makes it too hard to not hit, because your edge isn't far enough out. So my final conclusions, when it comes to getting that perfect edge, the most consistent and the sharpest edge, for me, and after my accident, it's kind of harder for my dexterity. That's why I can't freehand anymore. This one has been a game changer for me. It's a lot easier for me to maneuver, and I get much more precise, very, very sharp edges with the Kadet Pro. If I'm looking for speed, then sometimes I'll grab the Wicked Edge. If you're wanting a budget system like this, then I would say go with the KME, or if you don't have enough, expensive knives and it doesn't really matter to you, then the KME will be fine. But an even better one, in my opinion, that is about the same price and it has everything already, is the Work Sharp Professional Precision Adjust system. That all those systems can give you a sharp edge. It depends on how refined you want it, how sharp you like your knives, and your experience. They all take a learning curve to learn. I had, like I said, 6+ years, I think, with the Wicked Edge, and I'm still not perfect at that. But like I said, even though I've had all that time with the Wicked Edge, the TSprof has made a believer out of me, and I absolutely love the system. So there you go. Hopefully this video was helpful. If y'all want to see me do some sharpening videos, tips and tricks and stuff like that with the TSprof Kadet Pro, y'all let me know down in the comments. I can do that kind of thing. I will have a affiliate link in the description. If you want to help support the channel and you already plan on picking one of these up, you can use my link. No problem if you don't. Not a big deal. If you found this video helpful in any way, I appreciate it. If you hit that thumbs up button. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. I hope everybody's having an absolute amazing day. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, consider doing that as well. And I will see y'all on the next one. Pa, 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 pa.